So for part 2, we are going to recreate the UI on the home screen, which has a table view for each video you can watch. So let's get into it. First of all, we're going to create a new folder in here, which is a new group. We're going to name it Cell Video. And in this Cell Video, we are going to create 2 new files. The first one is a Coca Touch class, which is a subclass of UI tableview cell, and we are going to name that Cell Video. Go create. And the next one we want to create in here is go new file and create a new empty user interface, and we're going to name that Cell Video UI. And the reason we're doing this is throughout the YouTube app, when it's got a table view of videos you can watch, and it's used in several places. So we're creating a Cell Video folder to contain a table shell that shows a video and the details to the user, so we can reuse it across multiple table views. So before we go into it, I have some images here: profile picture, 3 dots, and video cover. You can download those in the source code below in the media.exe assets folder. So drag them into the assets.exe assets folder just here. And these are going to be used for our custom table view cell. So going into Cell Video UI, that's going to be an empty interface. So we want to search for table view cell in the bottom right in the Object Explorer. Drag that onto here. And with this cell we have on our screen, select it and change the height to be 275. And once we've done that, we'll go back out of that screen and back into it. Now we've done that, let's set up our custom cell. So first of all, we're going to get an image view, like so. And we are going to set the width to be 345 and the height to be 166. So that's 345 width. Once you've done that, place it in the middle of the view, leaving some room up the top. Then we're going to add some constraints to the top, left, and right, and also tick the aspect ratio box. So this is going to keep this image view towards the top of the cell. Make sure it's taking up the whole width with 7 points on either side of white space. And no matter what device we're using, it's going to maintain the aspect ratio. So on different size phones, we want the aspect ratio to be the same so the image looks good on it. Once we've done that, drag on another image view. It's time in the bottom left here. And we're going to make that 40 by 40. And once you've done that, add in auto layout constraints for that. Add the width and height to always be 40 by 40. And add in the left and right, so it's going to be pinned to the left of the screen and pinned to the top UI image view above that. Now for the cover, what we are going to do is go to the image view and set the image to be video cover. And we'll set this image here to be profile picture. So this is just to give us more of a visualization when we're building out the app to see how it actually looks like. This is quite handy because if you were to do this for the cover and the height was half of it, it would look quite different. You'd know we need to increase the height of it if the aspect ratio of the image doesn't look good. Next up, let's add in the labels. So we want to search for label in the Object Explorer in the bottom right. Place this next to our image, and we need to make sure the height of this label is 50. And don't make it take up the same width as the video cover, because we need to leave some room here for the 3 dots, which is an action button. Once you've done that, pin to that to the left, right, top, and set the height to 50. Add those 4 constraints to the screen. Under that label, we'll add a new label, and we are going to change the font size to 14. This is the video subtitle. Set that to take up the same width, and once again, pin that to the top, left, right, and also keep the height at 21. Add those constraints here. Next up, search for image view again. Drag that onto here. This one we're going to change to be quite small. So this image view is going to be 7 by 20. And set the image to be 3 dots. Now you can't really see it properly on the storyboard, but this is an action button when we run the app. And stick it around here and add the constraints to the top and right. Oops. And when we're adding those constraints, top, right, and also add the width and height of 7 and 20 in there. That's going to add the 3 dots, which shows a menu in the YouTube app. And next up, we are going to add the label for the time of the video. Once that's dragged on, set the color to white. And the background color we need to set to black. And we're going to set the text size of this to be 12. And we'll set the placeholder text to 00:00, so we know what it will look like on the screen. Drag that to be in the corner of the video cover. Add a constraints for width and height, and right, top, and bottom. Alright, so now we've got our storyboard layout set up. Let's start looking at connecting it into our code. So what we need to do, first of all, here, select this table view cell, and up in the top right, under the identity inspector, we need to change the class to be the cell video class we created. So now this cell video UI view is going to be associated with this cell video code here. And once we do that, if we select cell video and hit the assistant editor, you'll notice the cell video class opens up by default. So let's just make some room here and connect up all our objects. So the first one we'll connect up is the video cover, and we are going to name this image cover. The next one is our profile image. Under that, it should be image profile. Then we'll do the title as label title. Subtitle as label subtitle. The length of the video as label time. And finally, the image of the 3 action dots. You might need to zoom in to select it. As image action. Once you've done that, we'll close down the assistant editor, zoom on back out. And let's start connecting it up to the code and also further customizing it so this profile image is rounded and the subtitle down here is gray text. So first of all, let's get our table view actually working, and then we'll further customize it. So what we need to do is to go to our main.storyboard. In our home screen, make sure there's nothing on it. Let's find a table view, drag that onto here, and we're going to drag that to the top of the screen, make that take up the whole screen size, and add constraints to top, left, bottom, and right, all are 0, and that's going to make that table view take up the whole screen. Next of all, hold the control key with it selected and drag it to our home, and connect up the data source, then delegate outlets. Once we've done that, with it selected again, go to the assistant editor, and to connect it up to our home view controller, just drag it into there and create an outlet named TBL home. Now with that down, close down the assistant editor, and we are going to go over to our home view controller and actually code our home table view. So first of all, we're going to go let nib equals UI nib brackets nib name, and the nib name is going to be cell video UI, and we'll do comma bundle as nil. Then we're going to do table home dot register, cell class is going to be nib, and for cell reuse identifier we are going to name cell video, and this nib name is actually nib here. So what this code is doing, this nib first of all loads up this interface here, the cell video.ui.zip, and then it will register that with our table view, which is called table home. It will register our custom cell, and the cell reusable identifier is cell video, in which case we need to head on back over to our cell video UI, select cell video, and up here in the attribute inspector, set the identifier to be cell video, and that's how it knows to use this particular table view cell here. So going back to our view controller, let's code up our table view. So to do that, we're going to create an extension of our class, so extension home view controller, and we're going to add the protocol UI table view data source. Now in here, we'll do number of rows in section, and this is the amount of rows we have, and we're just going to return 5 for now. We're going to change this later. At the moment, we're just getting the actual table cells UI set up and working as per YouTube. The next one is going to be cell for row at index path. Now in here, we'll do let cell colon of the type cell video equals self dot table home dot dec for a usable cell with identifier. That's going to be cell video as the identifier, which we used and created earlier, as exclamation mark cell video. Then we'll do return cell. Once this is done, we'll create another extension of the home view controller, and we'll add the protocol UI table view delegate, and in this we'll do height for row at index path and return 280. So let's just run the code to make sure it's working, and I'll just go over the table view functions I added. And if you have used table views before, you probably noticed I've placed them in extensions this time, so I'll explain as to why I've done that in this tutorial. Alright, great news. We can see here we've got our home table view set up, and we can scroll through all the different videos, so that's awesome news. So let's go back to the code for that table view and close down our simulator. So what is happening is, first of all, we register that custom table cell we created so the table view can use it. And next of all, I've placed the table view functions in two extensions. This is a way to kind of keep your code for the table view nice and easy and manageable instead of having it all in a one class. So it just looks a bit nicer and organizes your code a bit nicer. So first of all, I've placed all the UI table view data source relevant code in here. So that's all the information in regards to the data of the table. So we have 5 cells, which is number of rows in section. We return the cell and set the cell contents in this cell for row at index path function here. And finally, we have another extension, which is for the UI table view delegate functions. And we set the height of the cell to be 280 because in our cell video UI here, you may recall we set this height to 280. So we also need to set the height in the code. Otherwise, this will only display 40 height. So the rest of it will get cut off except for the top. So that's why we're doing that. So now we've set this up, there's 2 more things to do for our table view cell interface to make it look more like YouTube. And that's set this profile image to rounded. And also this label is in gray text, and we'll just set the text here to name -views and -time. For now, we could change it later, and this label will just set to video name blah blah. And also with this label, we want to set the number of lines to 0. That way the text can go over 2 lines when you have a big video title. And you'll also notice the 3 dots here on the simulator actually displayed correctly. So let's take a look at it again. You can see here we have our 3 dots, and it's probably a bit too high up. So we'll just go back to our cell video UI, select it, click on the ruler icon, and in here you can see the auto constraints or the layout constraints you've set on it before. So the top space to image cover, we've got 2 of them, so we don't need 2 of them, so we'll just delete 1. And the other one will set to be more like 16 or 17, and that will move it down more in line to be matching the YouTube app. Now let's set this image to use a rounded icon and this text to be gray. So first of all, go into our UI color.extension. I'm going to create a new color called static let subtitle gray equals UI color, and the hex value of this is 0x999999. Now we go back to our cell video, and in this super.awake from nib function here, we can set our initialization code. So here we set label subtitle dot text color to be UI color dot subtitle gray that we just created. And to make a rounded image for our profile, the image profile dot layer dot corner radius equals image profile dot frame dot size dot width divided by 2. And next up we do image profile dot clips to bounds equals true. So let's run that now and take a look at our cells. So our profile is a rounded image, and our subtitle is the same gray that the YouTube has for their text, and our action buttons in a nicer place. Now just quickly before I wrap up this tutorial, I want to go to the code here that's making the profile image rounded. So it's setting the corner radius to be half of the width. Now, since the height and width is the same, half the width, we can use from that or the height, and that will cause it to have a rounded image here. Now, I want to go back to this code because there's quite a few other places in the app that also use rounded images. So you don't want to be doing this every time. So much like UI color, we can create an extension for UI image view to make it easier for us to make images rounded. So go File, New File, create a new Swift file. And we are going to name this UI image view. And we don't want that in the cell video folder. What we want to do in here is create a new group, and we'll name the folder extensions. And we'll move the UI color into this folder and UI image view. And we'll keep any classes that we extend in here. If we're extending the functionality, we'll keep it in this extensions folder, so it's all in one central place, nice and easy for us to manage. So for this, we want to do import UI kit, and we'll go extension on the UI image view. And we'll want to add a function rounded image. Oh, actually, we'll name that function sets rounded. Is a better name. And in here, we'll do self dot layer dot corner radius equals self dot frame dot size dot width divided by 2. And finally, we'll do self dot clips to bounds equals true. So this function here, as long as the image has the same height and width, it's going to set the corner radius to be half the width. Now, if you wanted to make sure it rounded it correctly, you would add in some sort of check to make sure the width and the height is the same. Otherwise, you might round the image differently or not even round it, but in here, we're just going to assume the user already has an equal width and height for the image. So if we go back to cell video, we can get rid of these two lines and simply use image profile.set rounded. And that will call this UI image view extension. And whatever image we're calling it on is referred to as self. So we set self.layer.corner radius, then we set self.clips to bounds to true. So let's run that again, just to make sure that's working. All right, perfect. We can see we still have a rounded profile image here, and we've set up our basic table views that pretty much match a YouTube app for scrolling view videos on your home feed. So you can download the source code for part 2 below, and be sure to subscribe for more tutorials for this particular app and other areas in iOS development. Catch you guys next time.